Alrighty, we are back learning Yoma Daf Samach Omid Aleph. We're going to start with the Mishnah on Daf Samach Omid Aleph. This is I'm telling you, it's just a Zis. This Gemara is Zis. We're going to do Samach Aleph Omid Aleph, Samach Omid Beis, Samach. Here we go. Zok Telga Mishnah. Kol Maisa Yom Kippurim HaOmer Al HaSeder. All of the Avodah of Yom Kippur that is said in order. Im hikdim ma'isa lechaveroi, if you do one thing before something else, im hikdim, you preceded one avodah before a different avodah, so you did something out of order. Asa klum, it's like you did nothing. Mishnah gives us an example. Hikdim dam hasair. It's not really an example. It's not the case. Rashi, Hikdim dam hasair l'dam apar. We know what comes first. First you got a shechta par. And then you sprinkle the blood, right? You shech the par, then you go do the gairolos, and then you go back, and maybe you do vidui, and you do the shchita, and then you take the par, and you go. Then what they would sprinkle it. They'd serve the kids. We did the dama par first. When you finish with that, you went on and you shechted the soyer, and then you sprinkle the dama of the soyer. So what happens if you did that out of order? Hiktim dama soyer dama par. Yachzer v'yazim dama soyer la'acher dama par. You got to do the dama soyer again, right? Because I already did the dama par. I don't have to do the dama par again. I just have to do the dama soyer again because that was done out of order. What happens if after you, or while you were in the middle of the matanis, inside the Kodesh HaKodashim, the blood spilled? So now, Yavi dam acher v'yachzer b'tchila mi b'fnim. You got to go back and shecht another par, and do all the hazayis again. V'chein behechel. Same thing if you're in the middle of doing the sprinkling the dam on the pareches, and the dam spilled, you got to go get another. You got to shach another sayer. V'chein behechel v'chein b'mizbeach hazav, when you're doing the hazayis on the mizbeach hazav. Shekulon kapara b'fnei atzman. They're all considered an independent kapara, which would mean that you only have to go back. You don't have to, meaning if you're in the middle of doing the mizbeach and the blood spills, so you have to shecht another whatever is spilled to be able to do the hazah on the mizbeach, but you don't have to go back and do them all again, because each one is independent. Right? For what you're doing, you'd have to complete it, or you couldn't just complete what you're doing. You have to go back and start again from what you're doing, but you don't have to go back to the beginning. Okay. Rabbi Lezer, Shimon Aimrim, Mimakim Shepasak Mishamu Maschil. Nah. If you're in the middle of, let's say, doing the hazayis, you did Echad Lamala, you're in the middle of Shalish Lamata, and then the blood spills, you go Shachtin one, and you continue from where you left off. That's the Mishnah. Gewaldig. Sagt the Gemara, Tan Rabban, the Gemara now will be Kol Ma'isa Yom Kippurim HaOmer Al HaSeder Im Hiktem Ma'isa Lechaver Le'asa Klum. Now, is this applicable to all of the avodas done on Yom Kippur? So we're going to qualify this halacha. Which items cannot be done out of order, and if they're done out of order, they're like they don't count. So we're going to have machlekes here, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. Rabbi Yehuda, Emasai b'dvarim hanasim b'bigdei lavan mi bifnim. This only applies to avodas that are done while the Kohen Gadol is wearing his bigdei lavan, and they're done in the Kodesh HaKodashim. If you mess up the order there, then you got to go back. It doesn't count. But avodah hanasim b'bigdei lavan b'chutz. But an avodah that was done in bigdei lavan outside the Kodesh HaKodashim. So let's say the hazayis on the pareches, or I guess the hazayis on the mizbeach hachitzain, or the gairol, or the gairol of vidui. Rashi says kagan hagrala and vidui ushvichas shirayim v'chol matanas hapareches and mizbeach hazav. So then they're not ma'akiv. Okay, gewaldik. That's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. He holds if you're wearing big day lavan, it's ma'akiv. The order is ma'akiv. But things that are done in big day zav, big day chutz outside, like what? That could be the aisle that he brings, or the aisle ha'am. So if he did that before, he did it out of order, and he did it before he was mitzi the kaf and the machta. So he said that is not going to be ma'akiv. Masha asay asay. You don't have to do that again. Okay, that's machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. Rabbi Yochanan v'shneiya mikra echad darsh. Rabbi Yochanan says, you know what? They're arguing about the same pasuk. The pasuk says, "V'hoy says Yislachem l'chukas ha'ilam achas bashana." Now that's actually not the whole pasuk. The pasuk says, "V'hoy says Yislachem l'chukas ha'ilam." This will be for you as a chayk forever. Chukas ha'ilam l'chaber al bnei Yisrael mikol chataysechem mikol chataysam achas bashana once a year v'yas kasher tziva Hashem as Moshe. Okay, so you know what they're going to darshan the achas bashana. To return to Samach Amid Beis. Rabbi Yehuda Savar Makoim Shemischaprim Boi Pam Achas Bashana. It's dependent on the place that the kapara is done only once a year. Where is there a place where you only do kapara once a year? L'fnai v'l'fnim. So anything that's done l'fnai v'l'fnim is going to be ma'akiv. The way we know that this pasuk is talking about things that are ma'akiv is because it says the word chayk, chuka. Chayk always tells you these avodas are ma'akiv. That means if they're done in the wrong way, that's going to be an issue. So, chuka, achas, it's dafka, the things that are done achas basha, in a place that is only done once a year, that is where we apply chuka, and they're going to be ma'akiv. So that's things that are done by big day lavan, mi bifnim. Reb Nechemia savar, dvarm hamischaprim behem pam achas bashana. Not things that the place where you're mechaper once a year, but on the items that are mischaper with, you're mechaper with only once a year. Then, so that's going to talk about the par of the par and the sayer. Those things are going to be ma'akiv, as opposed to the things that are done by the of, which are not. In fact, the Gemara, what are you saying? This is a beautiful drasha, Rabbi Yochanan. But Atul Rabbi Yehuda makam ksiv. Does it say anywhere in this pasuk makam achas bashana why would you think from reading this pasuk that when it says achas bashana it's referring to a place you do things once a year? It doesn't say makam in the pasuk anywhere. So why would you darshan that from this pasuk? So Gemara says, okay, we need a different source for this, or a different explanation for the machlekes Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Nechemia. Says the Gemara, Eloheinu taimei Rabbi Yehuda. Ksiv zois uksiv achas. Both the word zois and the word achas are miutim. They come to tell you that to be mamait something, to take something away. Zois is specific, dafka this, as opposed to something else. So it's a miut. Achas, one as opposed to other things. So what are they being mamait? So, meaning I would have assumed that there says chukah, it's referring to everything. But it says zois and achas, two miutim, says the Gemara, one comes to tell you that if you were, even though you would have thought, listen, this is something that's only done once a year, so big day love bachutz, maybe it should be ma'akiv. No, that's what Zayis comes to tell you. Not only bim bifnim and chad l'mute big day zav, and one's coming to be ma'it the avodas that are done in big day zav. Okay, so that's good. That's what Rabbi Yehuda is saying, that dafka things that are avodas that are done by big day love and mibifnim are ma'akiv, but big day zav and big day love and bibachutz are not ma'akiv if they're done out of order. Reb Nechemia, what about hey? Chad l'mute big day zav. Okay, so he keeps with that. One is coming to my big day, the avodas that are done by big day zav, like the aisle. The chad l'mute shirayim delay ma'akvi. The other is coming to say that shirayim, when you finished sprinkling the dam of the parasar and the dam achatos, so you went out to the mizbeach achitzon and you poured the blood on the yisaid. That was the shirayim. So you're saying that that's not ma'akiv. If that was done, if something that was supposed to be done after that was done before it, it wouldn't be ma'akiv. It would be okay. Oh, so Rabbi Yehuda, what about you? What do you hold about shirayim, Rabbi Yehuda? Ima akvi ma'akvi. What do you mean? If shirayim are are ma'akiv if you hold that, he's saying to Reb Nechemia, what's the difference between Shirayim and anything else? If you hold that big day lovin mibachutz, avodas that are done are ma'akiv, so Shirayim should also be ma'akiv. And if you hold that it's not ma'akiv like me, then it won't be ma'akiv. But why would you make a distinction between the hazah on the mizbech and Shirayim? They're both avodas. Shirayim is an avodah. Kedetanya. Now this is the shita of Rebbe Yehuda. Rebbe Yehuda is of the opinion that if a person would not, in general, by a carbon, pour the Shirayim onto the mizbeach, that would be ma'akev is kapara. So he holds that is an avodah chashuva, and nevada that would be just like the hazah. So says the Gemara, Kedetanya l'kolon den brisa. The pasuk is a great one. V'kola mechaper es hakodesh. V'chila. And then he finished mechaper es hakodesh. So the Gemara is like, why do you have to say this pasuk? Like, what does this pasuk teach? V'chila mechaper es hakodesh. V'es almeid v'es mizbech v'hikra v'es asarachai. So when he finishes doing these hazoyas, the sprinklings on the with the dam, so now he's makriv the sar hachai. Okay, so the Gemara is like, this pasuk seems to be a little extra. What is it coming to teach me? So we're going to dash in the words. The word v'chiper could mean a hazah, like in terms of a verb of atoning. So the hazah, the sprinkling of the dam, was the kapara, and kila means to finish. So the Gemara dash is like this: im kiper kala, v'im loy kiper loy kala. Div Rebbe Akiva. Rebbe Akiva says, im kiper, if you did all of the hazahs, if you did all the sprinklings of the dam, then kala, then you finished off the kapara. You're done. V'im loy kiper, but if you didn't do all the hazahs, then loy kila. Then you didn't finish off getting your kapara. Amal Rebbe Yehuda, like, why are you dashing the pasuk a little backwards? The word kala comes first. So you should write im kala kiper, v'im loy kala kiper. You should dash like that. Im kala, if you finish doing everything, kaper, then keeper, then you get a kapara. V'im loy kila loy kiper. If you didn't finish doing everything, loy kiper. Shemchisa achad. Kol matan is le'asav loy klum. So this is very, like, it sounds like they're arguing in like they're saying the same thing. You need to do you need to do everything to get your kapara. Who cares if you use the lashon of keeper, kala, or kala keeper? What's the difference? V'amrinan, the Gemara in Zvachim says, "My b'nai, what is the nafkamina between the two of them?" So Rabbi Yechon is of the Rabbi Yechon, Rabbi Shubal Levi. We have machlekes. Chadam mashmaz darshan. One says you're right. It's just a matter of how you darshan the pasuk, but they're saying the same thing. That's the difference between them. Shirayim ma'akve ikebenayu. No. The nafkamina is whether or not Shirayim, pouring the remainder of the dam that you have onto the side of the mizbech, is that an avodah chashuva that will be ma'akev kapara if you don't do that? Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that it is ma'akev, and Rabbi Akiva is not. Oh, so this is geschmack. So now we say, Rabbi Yehuda, you're the one who holds that Shirayim is ma'akev kapar generally. So about that, you are of the opinion that you don't need a pasuk. I wouldn't be mamayit Shirayim, because about the Shirayim should be ma'akev. But Rabbi Nechemia would hold, like Rabbi Akiva, that Shirayim is not a avodah chashuva, and therefore it's not ma'akev, even though it's done by big day love and mibachutz. Does Rabbi Yochanan really hold that Shirayim is not ma'akev? Is that true? Right, that's what we're learning now, right? According to Rabbi Yochanan, he's saying that that chad l'me'ut is Shirayim d'lei ma'akvi. In fact, Rabbi Yochanan, Achi v'amar Rabbi Yochanan, Tana Rabbi Nechemia kedivrei ha'omer Shirayim ma'akvi. We have a teaching that Rabbi Nechemia taught that Shirayim is ma'akiv. Where is this? Let's take a look at the Rashi first of the wide lines on the bottom of the page. How do we know this? Because Rabbi Nechemia is of the opinion that if you were makriv the shiyori hadam bachutz outside, you're chayiv. That's like being makriv a carbon bachutz. So you see, avodahin. It's considered an avodah. Bifnim v'karin behu v'pasach el me'leyaviu. So we see that Rabbi Nechemia is of the opinion that Shiraim is ma'akev, so therefore l'chari you won't have a pasuk being ma'akev, saying that it's not ma'akev. That would be odd, like Rabbi Yehuda Tainid. So that's a kasha. The Gemara blibes on Reb Yochanan. Says the Hil Gemara weiter. Amar Reb Chanina. Ketoiris. We're going to talk about a few other things that you do out of order. So Amar Reb Chanina, Ketoiris shechafna koidam shchitasai shalpar, loy asa veloy klum. If the Kohen Gadol were to take his handful of ketoiris before he shechted the par, so then loy asa veloy klum, he's got to do it again. Doesn't count. Someone says, "Come on, who is this going like?" L'chayr, like Rabbi Yehuda. This is not like Rabbi Yehuda. Di Rabbi Yehuda, Amar ki ksiva chuka b'dvar manasim b'bigdei love mi b'fnim hu diksiva. Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that bigdei love and b'fnim. That means you got to be doing this inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim. This is being done outside the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So l'chayr, this is not like going like Rabbi Yehuda. Where it says, not so fast. I feel tame Rabbi Yehuda. Tzorich pnim kipnim dami. Anything which is necessary for pnim to be able to do your avodah inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim has the same halacha kifnim. Tzorich pnim is kifnim dami. Something which is necessary to do your avodah in the Kodesh HaKadoshim is like avodah. So even though you are doing the chafina outside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, since that isn't necessary for the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the same thing applies, Rashi says on Amud Aleph, for shchita. The shchitas hapar also can't be done out of order. You're doing it bachotz? Yeah, but since it's a tzerech pnim, it's kifnim dami. Gevaldik. Tanan, says the Mishnah, im ad shalai gomer gematanis shebifnim nishpach hadam. The Mishnah said, if you didn't finish doing all the matanis inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and the nishpach hadam, the dam spilled, yavi dam acher, you have to bring other blood, v'yachzer v'yazer bitchila, mi bifnim. You got to go do and sprinkle the dam again from the beginning on the inside. Now, 1 second. V'im isa, if this is true, yachzer v'yachfoin mi bayilei. Before you do the hazayis of the dam on the inside, you had to first do. Do chafina. You had to get your keteris ready. So if you're telling me that he's in the middle of doing the hazas, so then and Rav Chanina says that if you do the chafina before the shchita of the par, it's like asav like klum, and now I have to go shecht another par, so that means I'm going to have to go back and do the chafina again. Says the Gemara, it's true. But B'Keteris like a Mairi. We're not talking about Keteris over here. The Mishnah is talking about the dam. So in the dam, we're telling you what needs to be done. Avada, there are other things that will also need to be done. Now, meaning the Gemara brought our Mishnah to ask a kasha on Rabbi Chanina. So we're saying that in the Mishnah it says im hiktim damasar damapar yachziyazim damasar la'achapar. Right? Or the Mishnah is only talking about the halachas of the dam. So we're not going to go and tell you what other things need to be done as well. Yeah, but there are other things that need to be done as well. But that is not the point that the Mishnah is focused on. Okay, we can. We'll save the next one for tomorrow. Okay, it's great to be back. Let's see you later.